Have you ever wondered how to make the perfect turkey for Thanksgiving? Today I'm going to show you how to make this perfect, amazing dish that is going to make you the hero of your holiday. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Glisten's Culinary Delights. I'm Glisten, and today we are going to learn how to make the most perfect Thanksgiving main dish that you will ever eat. Now, growing up, my mom used to wake up like at 5 in the morning every Thanksgiving just to stick that turkey in the oven, and she would just leave it in there all day long. At dinner time, we were always super excited because we've been smelling turkey in the house all day and all the different sides and stuff that she was making, and it was always so amazing. And then we'd sit down on the table and we'd get started at eating our dinner, and that turkey was so dry. It was so hard to just choke it down. We'd end up just like drenching it with gravy just to get it down. And so as an adult, I decided I'm going to try to find a recipe or create my own recipe that's going to get you the juiciest turkey. So today we are going to go over the do's, the don'ts, and what you need to do to get your turkey to be so moist that you're going to want to make this turkey every single year. So first things first, this turkey is a 2-day process. So we're going to do a brine turkey, and we're going to do it for 24 hours. So let's get started on day 1 of our turkey brining process. So it is day 1, and we are going to get started on our delicious turkey. But in order to do our turkey, we actually need to make a brine first. So here are the ingredients that I'm going to need for my brine, and I'm just going to put them in a heavy bottom pan. We're going to bring them to a boil just until the sugars and the salt dissolve, and then we will let this cool and we'll get our turkey ready. So for the brine, you're going to need some apple cider. And I'm just going to use a full gallon. The actual measurements will be down in my description. This is just the brine that I make every single year for the turkey, so I've just gotten it down. Then, most importantly for brine is the salt. So you're going to add in some kosher salt, and then there's some brown sugar and granulated sugar. Some maple syrup. Now I use the real maple syrup, not like the fake stuff that you get in the store that's maple syrup flavor. But you can use what you've got. Black peppercorns and some bay leaves. And that's basically it. So you're going to stir this up, bring it to a boil so you can get all that sugar and salt dissolved. And then once it's at a boil, I'm just going to remove it from the heat, and I'm going to let it cool, and we'll get our turkey ready. All right, so it looks like it's starting to boil, and when I stir it, you can always just pick up your spoon and see if it's all dissolved, and it looks like it is. That's very important for the brine. You want the salt to be dissolved because it's kind of like a salt bath that you're putting your turkey in, and this is just going to make it super, super moist. So once this is all dissolved, I'm going to take this off, and I'm going to get our turkey ready. All right, so let's talk about our bird. Now, this is just what a fresh turkey looks like. If you're a novice and you've never cooked a turkey before, this is the video for you, because I'm going to give you some tips on what to do, what not to do, and what to expect when you are doing your turkey. So my turkey, it had one of these little plastic things that was just holding the legs together. You're going to want to remove this because you're not going to want to put this in the oven when you're ready to bake it. It also has one of these plastic little thermometer thingies that they want you to keep it in the turkey to test the temperature. And if you've never done a turkey before, you see this little red thing on the top. When your turkey's done, that'll pop up and let you know your turkey's ready. I don't like to use these because I don't feel like they're super accurate, and every time I have used these, the breasts of my turkey get really dry. So I like to remove this, and I put my own thermometer in, and I'll show you how to do that later when we're ready to bake that. Next thing you're going to see is in the cavity of this turkey, I just had the turkey neck, and then all the giblets, which is just like all the innards, the liver, the kidneys, all of those organs that you can use these if you're going to make like a gravy or something like that, or you can just toss them. I know some people that like to cook the neck and eat the neck, but you don't have to. So I'm just gonna put these aside. It's very important for you to find those, because if you don't, you will bake them inside the turkey and it will come out completely like it will not work out. I've tried my first turkey I ever cooked. I left the giblets and the neck in, and it was just like a bloody mess, and it was not cooking properly. And so definitely you want to make sure that you remove those first. And then the next thing is, this turkey came with like a thing of gravy. You can make this as your gravy instead, or you can go over to my channel and see one of my shorts, and I'll teach you how to make gravy from scratch. So that's that for the turkey. I'm going to show you what we're going to do and how we're going to get this turkey brining. Okay, so to brine our turkey, you're going to need a brining bag or even a bucket that you can get from Home Depot. I like to use these bags because I could just like put it in my fridge and just leave it in there all night. This is a 24-hour brine, so you're going to want to get it started the day before. That's why in the beginning I said day one, because this is the day before. So they are just like a huge, this kind of looks like a giant Ziploc bag. There you go. And this one came with two. So I will do the link in the description. I just got these bags on Amazon. You can get them at your grocery store too. Let's get our turkey in this bag, and then we'll get started on adding all the rest of the ingredients. You're going to want your turkey to be thawed, so make sure you put it in the fridge like 3 or 4 days before you're going to cook it, because you want it to be completely thawed out. I had mine in the fridge for like a week, and there was still a little bit of ice on the turkey when I took it out of the bag. All right, so let's add the rest of our ingredients. So we've got quite a few things that we're going to add into our brine. And they're just large items that we're either going to shove inside the turkey or just like lay it around in the bag. And then once our brine is completely cool, we'll pour our brine onto it. You don't want to put your brine on hot, so make sure that it's room temperature. Pour your brine on top, and then you can put it in the fridge or in a cooler or however you want to do it. If you don't have room in your fridge, then definitely get a cooler, just some ice, and it's perfect. So let's get started on the different ingredients that we're going to put. So here we've got some thyme, some rosemary, and some sage leaves, just like this. And I'm going to add some of them inside the turkey, and then just spread them around in the bag. Next, I've got some oranges, and I've just, like 2 oranges that I just quartered. Shove some inside the turkey, spread the rest inside the bag. Onion, then some celery. And then last but not least, we have some fresh ginger that I just peeled and chopped into small pieces. We're going to add that. Same thing, put some inside the turkey, and then sprinkle the rest in the bag. And then garlic cloves that I've halved. There is a cavity in the front of the turkey too that you can put stuff in. And sometimes your giblets might be in there, so definitely pay attention to that, because I've gotten turkeys before that aren't like super noticeable, and then you have to like search for those giblets. Let's get to our last step. So this is completely cool and it's ready to go. So I am just going to put the brine in put the turkey in the brine. And then we're going to stick it in the fridge, and we're just going to leave it in there for about 24 hours. I like to take out the drawer of my crisper and I just empty it out and don't put anything in it. And that way I can just have the turkey in there. But like I said before, you can use a cooler, you can just use a bucket if you have a bucket, whatever you've got on hand. I feel like it's just really easy this way. So perfect. So then now we're just going to zip up our bag and get as much air out of it as you can. So as you can see, the brine doesn't completely cover our turkey. You've got a good portion of the turkey on top that doesn't have brine on it. And that's okay. We're just going to flip it every few hours just so that the whole turkey gets a good, nice amount of brine in the meat. We will be back tomorrow to cook that turkey, and then we will give it a taste. And I promise you, this is going to be the juiciest turkey that you have ever tasted. It's day 2 of our turkey day, and it's the actual day we're going to actually make that turkey. So I'm really, really excited. So as you can see, I'm in my PJs because we actually call Thanksgiving in our house pajama Thanksgiving. We don't get dressed up. We don't get all fancy. We wear pajamas all day, and it actually works in your favor because when the after dinner and the time after you gorge yourself on all that yummy food, you don't have to lay down and unbutton your pants. You're just wearing elastic pants that stretch with your food, baby. So it's amazing. We are going to make an amazing dinner. So let's get started on our turkey. All right, so we've got our turkey out of the fridge. Our next step is we're going to take it out of the brine. Now, if you remember yesterday, I told you that you're gonna have to be flipping your turkey in the brine. I hope you were able to do that because you wanted the brine to get into all the parts of the meat. I flipped this about halfway through just before I went to bed, so it was able to brine on one side all day long, and then it brined overnight on the other side. So next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take the turkey out of the brine, and we are going to rinse the turkey off, and then we're going to pat it dry with some paper towel. All right, our turkey is completely washed, and then also I got rid of the brine, but you're going to want to keep some of the onions from the brine and some of the herbs like the rosemary, the thyme, the sage, and some garlic pieces. And you're just going to want to lay them in the bottom of your roasting pan. Now I'm going to use some paper towels and I'm going to pat dry my turkey. And before I turn my turkey over, we are going to tie the legs together. So I have a good piece of cooking twine here, and I can always just cut it. What you're going to do is you're going to grab the turkey legs, put them together like this, and we're going to tie that. Now, the reason we do this is if you don't do it, then the legs will kind of separate and it won't look as pretty. It doesn't really affect the way it cooks or anything like that, but nice little bow. Perfect. All right, so now we are going to turn it over, and as you can see, so this on my turkey, these are the breasts here. We're going to turn it over breast side down. Okay, and then I'm also going to pat dry this bottom side. All right, before we stick our turkey in the oven, you're going to want your oven preheated to 450. Like I said, in the bottom of the pan, you're just going to have those onions, those herbs that we had, and some garlic cloves. We're also going to add 2 cups of chicken stock. And if you were ambitious and you wanted to save that neck and those giblets, you would also add that into the bottom of your pan. Those you can use to it'll make a nice broth down at the bottom, and then you can use that broth to make some gravy if you'd like. So the next step is I've just got some melted butter here, and I'm just going to brush it across my turkey all over. And we're just doing the one side because we're going to flip the turkey over later and we'll put more butter on it. But for now, we'll just do this one side. This is going to help our turkey brown nicely. That's good. And then last but not least, we're going to just sprinkle some pepper. And that is it. So we are going to stick our turkey in. It's going to be in the oven. Wait until your oven is preheated to 450. And then you are going to stick this in the oven for 30 minutes. Once it's been 30 minutes, we're going to take the turkey out. We're going to flip it over, do the same thing we just did with the seasoning and the butter, and then we will stick it back in the oven until it's ready. Yesterday, if you saw, I threw out that tiny little thermometer thing that comes with the turkey, because in my experience, it doesn't ever pop out when it's supposed to, and I always end up overcooking my turkey. So I like to use my own thermometer and judge the temperature that way. So we're going to remove this turkey out of the oven when it's completely done at 165. That's the temperature we're looking for. So what we're going to do is I'm going to stick my probe in to a thick part of the turkey breast. So just kind of flip it over just a little bit into that turkey breast. Make sure you're not hitting the bone, but make sure you're getting deep into that meat, because that's going to help you measure if your turkey's done. So now that that's in there, I'm going to stick it in my oven and we'll get this turkey process started. Like I said, half an hour, 450, remove it from the oven, and then we'll go from there. All right, so it's been half an hour and our turkey is looking kind of brown on the bottom, as you can see. Now you're going to turn your oven down to 350 and we're going to flip over our bird. All right, so now that our bird is flipped over, I'm going to brush it with that melted butter like we did before. All right, so I've got the melted butter all on it. I'm just going to pepper this one like we did the last one, and then we'll pop it right back in the oven. Now this is gonna go in the oven until you hit at 165, and then you're gonna take it out. You can also take it out a few degrees sooner, like 160, 163, because when you're resting your turkey, it will cook a little more. And so if you want it to be perfectly moist and juicy, that is a good time to take it out. So let's stick this in the oven. And then also one tip for doing your turkey is part of the do's and don'ts. If your turkey starts to brown too much on the breast part here, then you're going to want to cover it with some foil. And if our turkey gets to that point, then I'll show you how I do that. Otherwise, we're going to put it in the oven. It usually takes about another hour and a half, sometimes 2 hours, depending on the size of your turkey. All right, so our turkey is ready to go. It's at temp, which is good. Now we are going to let it cool, let it rest for about 20 minutes. But it's looking great. I covered it with foil because it was browning way too quickly. So that's what you're gonna wanna do once your turkey gets to that point, because you don't want it to get all burnt. But this is looking great. And so I'm just going to leave this. It's just gonna sit for 20 minutes on my countertop, and then we'll get it all cut up. All right, so our turkey's done. It's been resting for a while now. So we're gonna carve into this baby and check it out and see how it's looking. So I like the breast best. So that's what I'm gonna cut into. I often feel that the breast is drier as well. And so this is gonna be a good test to see how moist our turkey is by cutting into this breast. So I'm just going to cut off a little slice. Oh yeah, this is looking good, guys. Now that is what making a turkey is all about. If you watch my close up, I'm squeezing the turkey. There's just juices pouring out of that baby. It's perfectly cooked. And we are going to just cut off a slice of this piece, and I'm gonna give it a taste. So good. It's so moist, so juicy. It's perfectly seasoned, perfectly cooked, so good. Definitely try this recipe for your holiday season, because you will not be sorry. If you're like my husband who hates turkey because he thinks it's so dry, this is the only turkey that he'll eat because he loves it so much. It's just so juicy and moist. So go out there, make that recipe. Let me know in the comments if you did make that recipe, because I'd like to know how it works out for you guys. For a side note, if you want gravy for your turkey, go over to my reels, because I have a reel that I just put out this last week. And how to make some turkey gravy for your meal. So go check that out, and I'll see you next time. Thanks.